Hi everyone, so today I want to show you this card. Now this is kind of a progression on from the Block Easel card that we did the other week, and it's just quite sweet. I quite like it. So I saw a version of this card. The one I saw had 4 blocks at the front, and I saw it on Instagram. Addinktive Designs had done it, and I thought it was really cool. And she'd actually inked and stamped all these blocks, so it looked like, I think she'd done a sea as well, so it looked like a sea, and had like a seascape behind, and it just looked really good. So I thought, oh, I really like that. So I couldn't see a tutorial, so I just sort of made up my own measurements. So these are completely my own measurements. I'm not sure what measurements she used. And then the whole thing folds flat like, let me just make my little froggy lie down, folds flat like that. And it goes in an envelope for a 5x7 card. It's quite easy to downsize. At the end I kind of take you through roughly how you can do it if you wanted to downsize it or change the measurements, and then it stands up like that. So it's really easy to do. So yeah, so let's get into it. So for this card you're going to need a base piece that is 5 inches by 11 3/4, another base piece which is 5x7, and you also need 3 the kind of base pieces, but I'm using patterned. This is 200 GSM, and these are 3 3/4 by 5. Now if you want to, you can make these base pieces and you can cut yourself out mats and layers like we did on this one. We've got the mats and layers, but because of the scene that I'm doing on this, and also because there's 3 of them, I decided not to. I decided to go for pattern card and just not mat and layer them, so this will be what you see. So it's completely up to you. If you want to mat and layer, you can. I just feel like the mats and the layers are going to be quite small. It's quite a lot to cut out. So I don't think it's necessary. You can kind of do, you know, patterned. If you wanted to, you could have a plain base card and stamp your own design, your ink it up, whatever, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? You could really go to town with it. So we're going to go ahead and score these now. So on the 5x11 3/4, mine's not quite 3/4, but it's fine. That little tiny bit, it's not a problem. This is basically the length of an A4 by 5 inches. So you're going to score at 3.5 and at 7. Okay, so that's that piece done. You can put that to one side. And then we're going to take the 3 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 5. And along the 3 3/4 edge, we're going to score at 3/4 inch, 1.5, 2 1/4, and 3 inches. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that on the other 2. Okay, so you should end up with 3 pieces that are scored like that. Now what you want to do now is just go ahead and just trim off a tiny piece off the edge of one side of each of them. Just make sure you know which one it is. If you know, are not sure, then just literally, you know, on the other side, just write a little X, so you know which one it is you're going to be trimming a tiny piece off, and then later on you'll know which one you need to fold round. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just trim a tiny bit off all 3. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines, and these are going to make our little blocks that are going to stand up on the front of our card. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done that, so you should end up with 3 pieces that are all folded in like that. And then what you want to do is the one that you put the cross on, you're just going to fold that over and then put some glue on that and then stick that down. So before you do it, you might want to just get rid of your little pencil cross, because you will be able to see that. But just make sure you know which one it is before you get rid of it. So I'm going to turn all of mine the same way round so I know which one it is. So we're going to fold over 2 flaps. I'm going to put some glue, or you can use red tape, either is fine. And we're just going to glue that panel there, and then fold that over and stick it flat. Okay, now the way you've stuck it flat, leave it like that for now, and then in a minute that's going to be very helpful, so that you know which way round you need to put it on your card. So we're going to do that with the other two. So again, just fold over the second panel. So you're kind of folding it in half, not quite. Like that. And then fold this over, stick that down, and I'm going to repeat it on the other one as well. Okay, so you should end up with 3 little pillars, little blocks, like this. And they're not going to be pillars, they're going to be blocks this time. I told you I had quite a few ideas for this. So that's your 3 pillars. Now for mine, I've got to be careful because my waves go a certain way. So that's the right way up for that wave. I'm just going to fold mine back on itself. I'm just going to get, if you've got a right way up, just sort out your right way up and get it all ready. Okay, so there's my 3 blocks ready to go. So we're just going to put those to one side for the moment. And we need to bring in our original base card, and we're just literally going to fold these and burnish them. Now I've used quite a thin card for this, just because of all the layers that you can put on it. You're going to put on a mat and a pattern, so it ends up being quite a bulky card if you're not careful. So I've actually gone for, I think this is about a 210, so it's not that thick really, but that's your card. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and should we go and stick that on first? Right, we're going to stick the pillars on first. So these pillars, these little blocks, are going to go on the front of your card here, and then that's going to come forward and that's going to be propped up there like that. Hopefully you can see that. So on the longest piece here, that's where you're going to stick your pillars. So I'm going to take the first one, and we're just going to, this is obviously this is what I decided to be my top, that's my base. So I'm going to put some glue or some red tape on that bottom section there, and obviously it depends what what you prefer working with. I prefer to work with glue, wet glue, because then I have a bit of wiggle room time. But if you don't have glue or you don't get on with glue, then by all means use red tape. Okay, so oops, it's going to stick. So it's going to fold that way. Okay, so this is my gluey bit. So this, oh no, oh dear. So this edge here is my gluey bit. So this edge here needs to be at the front of my card. And I'm just going to stick that down and rub all my wet glue off my mat. So I've just dropped it glue side down. Thankfully, with it being Yoo-hoo, it rubs off really easy. This is why I like Yoo-hoo. So if you get it on your work surface, you can literally rub it into a ball and rub it off. So it doesn't mark your surface. And even if you get it on your fingers, it's really easy to get off. Okay, so that's that stuck down there. And as I said, this is going to fold that way. If you want to, you can have it fold that way. It doesn't really matter. Because once this is down, it's still going to fit in. So it's really up to you. And then I'm going to take my next one, and that's going to go next door. I'm not going to stick this bit yet. I'm only going to stick the underside. So I'm just literally sticking it to the card base. I'm not sticking the pillars to one another. So we're going to go ahead and stick this down. I shall go through in a minute what all my papers are as well, because quite often I get people asking. So we're going to butt that right up to the one next door. Make sure it's nice and positioned. Okay, so as you can see, it's nicely positioned right next door to the other one. And then we go ahead and stick the third one down. Now when this folds flat, it is a bit bulky, and obviously because I'm using, this is 200 GSM card, that is quite a lot of quite a lot of card weight to be all together. But it does work. It's fine. It's just, you just have to be aware that it is a bit bulky. It's not too bad. There we go. So let's get that in. Okay, so let me turn that sideways so you can see. So as you can see, that's what it looks like on the side. Okay, so that's your 3 pieces put in. Now if you wanted to, you could go for it and you could add a 4th one on, or a 5th, or you could really extend this out if you wanted to. Just bear in mind that whatever you stick in here, needs to, when folded flat, not go above that line. Otherwise this isn't going to fold down. Okay, because I've made a card and the piece that I put here just folded too far. It stuck up too far just above that line, and so then this wouldn't fold down. So just be aware of that. And if you fold everything this way round, again, you've only got, turn it round, you've only got to the end of here to do it. Okay, so just be aware of that when you're choosing your little decorative elements to come sticking out of there. Just make sure that they do, you know, they're not too high. Okay, so that's that done. So now we need to go ahead and get some mat and pattern for here, some mat and pattern for here, and also our big panel on the front. So the big panel on the front, you need your base card that is 5 by 7, and then you also need a matte layer that is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and a pattern that's 4.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to go ahead, stick that onto there, stick that onto there, and stick the whole lot down onto there. Okay, so that's that card stuck down. I'm just going to quickly go through the papers while I think about it. So I've got like these little topper things as well, and I've got this paper and this. So this one is from the first edition Beyond the Shore. Really nice paper pad. This is actually the 12 by 12 that I've used, but you could use an 8 by 8 if you wanted to. Really beautiful papers in there. And then this one is an old one I got from quite a few years ago, Craft Sensations Seashores. They've got one out currently, I think, that's very similar. It's sort of seaside orientated, and it's some of the patterns are quite similar, so you might find something similar on the shelf, you know, now. And then this is where I got the decoupage from. So this is Trimcraft, it's Helz Cuppelditch, and it's Beach Life, and it's got some really cute little decoupage things in it, and you'll see some of them on my card today. And then this is what I use for my base card. This is from the range 210 GSM, and it's just plain white card. It's their own brand. Okay, so with your main piece, if you bring your base piece back in again, what you're going to do is open this up, and this is just literally going to stick on that bottom there. So you want to glue this and then stick that so that it marries up like that. I'm just going to open this up, makes it a bit easier. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here. There we go. And then I'm going to take my panel and we're just going to stick, making sure it lines up at the bottom and along the sides to get it straight. Oops. There we go. Okay, so that's now it's starting to come together now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the pattern piece for here and the other piece for here. So what we want is, now I'm actually going to put this here. Okay, so this is a topper that I found. If I didn't have that topper and I wanted a matte and a pattern layer, then my matte layer would be 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And your pattern would be 4.5 by 3, yeah, by 3 inches. Okay, so that's what you would need if you were using a pattern and a mat. I'm not, I'm just going to use that. And then here is the bit where you write your message. And so you need a matte piece, and this is 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. And then the white piece is 4.5 by 2, or 2 by 4.5. Always on screen I'll put it the other way around, I expect. So I'm going to stick that onto there like that, and then that's going to go there. If you want to stamp a greeting, go ahead and do it now. If you want to, you could make this your pattern piece, and this is the bit where you write your message. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead now and stick these bits down. Okay, so there's your card starting to come together. So that's obviously the front of it at the moment. Then you open it up, you've got your happy birthday there and somewhere to write here. So now I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this down on the front, and I'm going to make it towards the top, because at the bottom there you're going to have things popping up out of the sea, because it's like the sea. So I'm going to head and stick this down. In fact, I'm going to stick that. No, I'm going to stick that down now. Actually, I'm going to stick it down because I know I want it at the top. Okay, so I've stuck that down on pads, and now what we're going to need to do is we're going to go ahead and add all our little bits. So I've got the little rowing boat with the teddy bear in it, and I've got the frogs. So the frogs were going to go here. The little teddy bear and his little friend are going to go there, and then I'm going to put happy birthday. I might just do it this around actually. Yeah, I think I might do that way. So frogs at the back and then teddy bear. So as I was saying before, I need to make sure that with these frogs, actually I should be okay, that they don't go too high, because I need to make sure that they close there. So I'm just going to put a line of tape along the bottom there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this tape off. I'm going to take off part of it actually. And then I'm going to put it in, and I'm just going to stick it in myself at the front. Now you might not be able to see what I'm doing. I'll try and hold it up in a minute when I'm done. In fact, yeah, there we go. Like that. Okay, so I've literally just stuck, so that's still open, but I've just stuck that into place at the front there. So now I'm going to go ahead, add some tape on the back here, or glue, and then stick these together. And I'm going to stick them down so that they're flat. So I'm actually going to use some glue. So I'm just going to get in here and just put some glue along here. If you wanted to, you could leave this open. You don't have to, you know, glue it shut. I prefer to glue it shut because I just think it makes it more kind of finished. So I'm just going to do that and press it down so it's flat, and then we know it's definitely going to fold flat in the envelope. Okay, so then this bit's still open here, so I'm going to do the same again. So I'm going to get this, add a little bit of tape at the front there, stick that down there, and then repeat the process again. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've stuck him in. So if I turn that around, you can see there where I've stuck him down. And then I'm just going to go ahead now, add some glue onto this bit here, and then again stick it down flat. And then when you pop it up, you have your little creatures coming out the sea. And as I said, if you don't want to, you don't have to stick these down, but I sort of quite like it to be a block. But you don't have to. If you've used thicker card and you're struggling, I did make a card that failed quite desperately, then you might find that it's better to leave them open, but I like to shut them just because it makes it more finished look. So let's stick that down, and again we need to stick it down shut, flat even, not shut. Stick it down flat, because then we know it's definitely going to fit in our envelope flat. And then, so that's where we're up to so far. So we're almost finished, and all I'm going to do just to top it off is I've got a little happy birthday. I'm going to stick the little happy birthday on the front there. And so there you have the finished card. As you can see, it's quite cute. I love the fact that you've got the little 3D pop-up bits there, and then obviously when you open the card up, you've got your happy birthday and somewhere to write. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could swap those around. So you've got your write here and you've got your pattern there. Just because this was, you know, fitted perfectly into that space. That's why I chose to do this around. But yeah, so there's your card. And obviously it folds flat for posting. So all you do is you flatten the cubes and then just bring this down over the top like that. And it fits. As you can see, you've got a bit of bulk there. It's not too bad. That would probably fit through our UK mail. But yeah, but if you wanted to do this for a 4x6 card, it's easy. You just literally make a 4x6 easel, and just make sure you add a little bit extra on the front, and then, you know, just add your blocks on. So it's really quite simple, really, to downsize. You could do whatever size you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could do it landscape, you could do a 6x6 square, you could do all sorts. So yeah, so hopefully you'll have a go. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!